Hello folks, just a little public service announcement to kick things off today. If you remember back at Christmas, we had about a 10-11 day period where I was just releasing one video a day, rotating back in the borough with non-league to legend. We're going to be doing that now for the next week or so. We've got Easter next weekend, but I'm also playing in the Football Manager World Esports Championships at Insomnia 62 next weekend, which means I've got the whole weekend away at Insomnia, which is cool, which means we've moved our family Easter forward to before Easter, which is still cool. Plus, I've got another thing that I've got to go and do on Thursday. Long story short, I've basically got 3 days between now and I don't know, next Tuesday where I can actually record videos. So I'm going to record enough to do one a day and it'll be fine. We'll go back to normal afterwards. I'm sure you'll cope for like a week. Sorry. Hello and welcome to part 70 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are away against Bradford and at home against Oxford, both in League 2. That Bradford game massively significant because if we look at the league table, you'll see 30 games in, it's a lot closer at the top of the league than I thought it would be. There's actually a 7-point gap behind us to Tranmere. Remember, Tranmere are the team who came up from the conference with us. We've both done exceptionally well in the 2 years we've been in the Football League. But there's that nice 7-point gap. Automatic promotion is starting to look like a realistic option, and we're starting to just glance upwards. With 16 games to go, we're only 2 points behind Forest and 1 point behind Bradford, who we play right now. This is the form that got us to this point. We've been playing really rather well. Apart from that one iffy day against Mansfield, everything going good. And if we can pick up a win against Bradford today, we're in with a realistic possibility of fighting for a league title, which would be nuts. Also nuts is the fact that Dan Fisher has 26 goals by February in the league. We've got the 3 top-rated players in the entire division in Fisher, McDonald and Skelton. Skelton and Fisher are joint top of the assists table. Fisher's top of the man of the match table. We've got some good players. That's how we've got into the position that we're in. And this is the team that we're going to put out there for today's game against Bradford. We've got Nadat in goal, a back four of Anderson, Sawyer, Burns and Mole. That's because we've got injuries to defenders. That's the reason Burns is in the team. It's all coming back to me now. Hold on. If we narrow this down to our defenders, who apparently we don't have... Right, we have to click the defender button. So Laskowski had a knock. Redhead and Laskowski were both injured. They're both fit again. That's interesting. I wonder what Kev's thought process was 3 days ago when he picked this team. We're gonna go with whatever he was thinking. Kev, leave notes, please. I'm recording this on Sunday morning. You picked this team on Thursday. Come on now. Who knows? I bet he had an idea in mind. Skelton, Squire, Bill, and Darwin are in midfield with Ball in behind Fisher and McDonald. Let's hit continue. Let's get into the game and let's hopefully pick up a win against Bradford. I do hope Burns has a good game because that seems like an unusual call for past Kev to make. I hope it's not just a case of he didn't pick the team at all and this is the team that previously played a week ago when Laskowski and Redhead were still injured. There's always the possibility that he was lazy enough to do that, but I'd like to think, if I know past Kev the way I think I know past Kev, the only reason he's pressed continue enough to get through to match day, ready for me to do this on Sunday morning, or Saturday morning like I was supposed to, but the only reason he's pressed continue to get to match day is because he wanted to pick the team. He had an idea in mind, and I guess that idea was Burns, because otherwise that lazy toe rag usually just exits straight out of the game and leaves me to pick up the pieces when I'm ready to record. So I'm guessing it was deliberately to send a message that Philip Burns is the man. I don't remember why though. What a save from Robbie Nadat, by the way. What a hero that man is. Keeps us in the game 0-0, and now we've got a corner with Skelton. Squire Bill's there, and it's straight into the hands of their keeper. Not straight at their keeper. I think that would be a little unfair. The keeper had to move his hands off to the side, but it wasn't the best header in the history of the world. On the topic of Insomnia 62 next weekend, I know we touched on it in the intro. I'm going to be there all day Saturday, Sunday, hopefully Monday, if I get into the final of the tournament. But on the Saturday, in particular, I'm just going to be mooching around on the show floor for certainly most of the afternoon, once I've got my computer set up over in the Bring Your Own Computer area. So if you are going to be at Insomnia 62 next weekend, keep an eye on my Twitter or let me know down in the comments, or let's figure out some way where I can start putting a few more faces to names, because I like doing that. I'm familiar with a lot of names from down in the comments now and over on Twitter, but there's still so few of you that I've actually met. So if you are going to be at Insomnia, it would be very cool to say hello and just start to meet a few of you, which is awesome. As it stands right now, we're top of the league. McDonald puts us 1-0 up from across from Fisher, so Fisher now stands alone as the top assist maker in the division. What's going on in the Forest game? I mean, not that it really matters at this stage. There's still 15 games left after this one. We're not winning the league title today. But certainly going top of the league at this point of the season would put us in a nice position if we can manage to hold on. And that gap behind us is massively significant because, 7-point gap. I would say a 7-point gap. If I was sat there in 4th place, 7 points behind, I would be starting to worry a little bit at this stage. Right, Fisher in behind again, floats the cross over to McDonald. It's quite a poor cross this time. McDonald probably made more of it than there was to make, and we end up keeping the move going through some decent tracking back from Darwin, I think it was. Squire Bill forward again to Darwin. McDonald, Anderson, can he cross? He does. Fisher's there, and it's, straight. I was going to say straight at their keeper again, but again, that one wasn't. It was tipped up. It wasn't tipped over the bar. He just missed. I'm trying to give him too much credit. But we are playing some lovely football today. Skelton now in loads of space, but decides to play it back to Burns, who lumps the ball forward. Good work, Burns. That's why you're in the team ahead of Laskowski and Redhead. They are both on the bench. Please be aware of that. And we're trying to defend. Darwin's having a good game down this left-hand side today. Forest have now gone ahead in their match, so we're back down to 2nd place. No shame at all in 2nd place. That puts us down to 3rd. No shame at all in 3rd place. It'll be fine. We're still 5 points clear of Port Vale. 5 points is catchable now. I liked it being 7. I think my rule of thumb in my head is once you're into that second half of the season, it's more than a 6-point gap you're looking for. If you're chasing, you can make up 6 points. If you're leading the pack, 6 points is getting to the point where it's hard to catch. Once it drops back down to 5 points again, it's game on, especially with 15 games to go. 5 points, even with 5 games to go, knowing how inconsistent we could be, I'd be a little bit twitchy. So it would be nice to go back ahead in this game, but it's Bradford who are on the attack again, and we just hang on as we head into half-time. It's been a very even first half, actually. But what's going on in the Forest game? I shouldn't be checking this, really. I shouldn't be thinking that far ahead. Can't even see them. Where are Forest? There they are. 1-0 against Crawley. Right, what's wrong with Josh McDonald? I know he picked up a knock in that first half. Knee injury. He'll be fine. I don't actually know what strikers we've got on the bench. I'll have to check again. It'll be the work of past Kev. And knowing how lazy that man is, he probably got the assistant manager to pick Hibbert and Hendon. Hendon, I have vague recollections of him agreeing to join someone else. Yeah, he's joining Dundalk. The way I do it with these young players is I usually wait until January before offering contracts. I offered a few contracts out. I did offer one to Hendon, but he's decided he wants to go to Dundalk instead, which, to me, that seems like a distinct lack of ambition on his part. We're in a promotion spot, pushing up potentially to League One. League Two, I think, is a step up from Dundalk would be the Irish League, is it? Regardless, League Two's a step up from that, surely. Posh have signed players in real life who've been absolute superstars in the Irish League, and they don't come straight into our first team. So League One's certainly a step up. Presumably League Two is as well. Just seems a little bit odd when we want to keep him. He's decided to go. But we're now 2-1 down. Perhaps he had a point. Perhaps he saw this coming. The collapse is on. Because a defeat against Bradford today, we haven't really talked about what happens if we lose. But if we lose, it goes back to being really a 2-horse race for the title again between Nottingham Forest and Bradford, who, by rights, are the two teams who should be chasing the title because they're much, much bigger clubs than we are. And we get back into just trying to... really, the goal all along has been just to make it into the playoffs. The Philip Burns experiment has been a disaster. Triple substitution, Redhead comes on. We've brought on Hibbert as well for the injured McDonald. And we're just going to swap those two over. because Hibbert can only really play as an advanced forward. Whereas Dan Fisher, because he's an awesome hero, can play anywhere across our front line. We've got 20 minutes with a slightly new look attack. Darwin's been pushed forward as well to try and make a breakthrough and at least grab an equaliser. Because a 4-point gap between us and Tranmere, that's even less secure. I much preferred it when we had a 7-point gap, but it doesn't look like we're going to get back into it. In other contract news, we have offered a new contract to Mole. That one has been accepted. There's a couple of the other youngsters who've been offered new deals as well. Hibbert is in and misses. Did I just see Bradford have had 6 clear-cut chances today to our 3? I really don't know what I was complaining about if that's the case. 6 clear-cut chances and 4 half chances. We'd had 3 clear-cut chances. They have ripped us apart today. We did quite well to be in this game for as long as we have been. Looking at those stats, that is insane. They've had some... I mean, both of us have missed some opportunities, if that's the case. I wonder how much of that I can blame on Burns. I hope most of it. Now we've got Redhead and Laskowski fit again. Hopefully we don't have to play Burns too often. We're just going to blame him. You can't blame Robbie Nadak for clear-cut chances. The fact that they had 6 and he presumably saved 4 of them means he had a man-of-the-match performance. But now we go into the next game, which is against Oxford. And Oxford are lower mid-table. So fingers crossed, straight back to winning ways. Couple of changes for the Oxford game then to try and prevent them getting 6 clear-cut chances the way Bradford did. So Redhead and Worrell Bristow come into the back 4 with Burns dropping to the bench and what's-his-face, Mole, dropping out the squad altogether. Because you don't need a spare right back on the bench when you can have 2 centre-backs. I mean, there's logic there. And I'm sticking to watch Worrell Bristow get injured in the first minute of the game now, or sent off or something silly. But Burns, I think it's a little bit harsh to drop him completely out of the squad. Mole's had a long run in the team. Burns, not so much. Laskowski's got to be on the bench because he's Laskowski and he's always in and around the first team squad. Ball with a header very early on. And what a weird piece of goalkeeping there. I guess it's just a match engine making him drop the ball as soon as he gave the corner away. But it just looked odd catching it and then rolling it out immediately as he hit the line himself. Right, that's a chance at both ends in the first minute. This is such a Kev team these days. Remember, like 3 or 4 seasons ago when I couldn't get this team playing the way a Kev team normally plays. We're now at home against a team in the bottom half of the table and both teams have had a shot in the first minute of a match. That's when you know it's a Kev team. Plus there was a corner in there as well. I mean, there's no time to catch your breath. It's just end to end. Everyone gets a shot and it just comes down to who's got the best strikers. And I think we've got the best strikers in League 2, in Fisher and McDonald. Although we've gone 1-0 down. So there's that. But, oh good. And Bobby Joe, Worrell Bristow, he's got too many names to say. He's suffered a broken nose. So it wasn't the first minute, it was the 21st minute. He should be able to play through it though. Good. How has he got a broken nose in that move? He's nowhere, unless, I don't know, he's running so fast that the friction on his nose from the air pressure has broken his nose. Because he was nowhere near any of the players. That was part of the problem with that move. He's nowhere near any of that. Oh no, it's 2-0. Are we really going to lose both matches on this episode? That lovely gap that we were talking about between us and 4th place is down to 3 points as it is. It's going to get even smaller before the end of the match because Port Vale and Tranmere haven't even started scoring in their games yet. We're going to have thrown away a 7-point gap and turned it into a 1-point gap. And there's still 14 games to go. And we're suddenly entering free fall, boys and girls. Right, come on, we need to get back into this game. Darwin is running the wrong way, but finds Anderson back into Square Bill. Squire Bill, not Square Bill. That's twice I've said his name wrong today in different ways. Worrell Bristow. He's got no nose, but we don't care. And he almost created an opportunity for us. Marvellous stuff. Skelton with the corner. Comes across. Doesn't find a blue shirt. But Darwin whips it back in again. And there's Fisher. But it is straight at the keeper. I do worry a little bit with players like Dan Fisher. We've seen it before with Livesey Mason. Possibly with Sedwin Scott the season before as well. And in fact, with McDonald last year, we've had like 4 seasons in a row where we've had a player scoring goals for fun for the first 25, 30 games of the season, getting to what you would consider a season-ending goal tally. And then it becomes their season-ending goal tally because they get to this point. And I don't know if the game just says, you know what, you've scored enough goals now. we've made a bit of a boo-boo here. Let's not let you have any more. And they just stop scoring. Oh, 3-0 down. And, I mean, the clear-cut chances say we deserve it, but I just don't understand. But you saw the form we were in. It's the game punishing me for not turning it on for a couple of days again. It does this. We all know this is what happens with Football Manager. If you don't turn the game on for a few days, you get punished for not turning the game on for a few days. And that is obviously exactly what's happening here. Because, I mean, it's a 1-point gap now. I was so excited at the start. Fisher's stopped scoring. McDonald's broken. Worrell Bristow's broken. Ball to Fisher. Misses again. I mean, that's a chance he scores 3 games ago. He scores that. And, right, what do I do? Do I just drop Dan Fisher now? Do we assume he's scored his goals for the season and drop him? We don't have a left back to bring on for Anderson. We don't have a right back to bring on for Bristow. We can bring Laskowski on because at least it's a change to the defence. We're going to take off Fisher. Actually, we're going to take off McDonald as well. Just swap the front 2 over. And we'll go Hendon and Garrick up front and see what they can come up with. I really need to stop having Hendon in the squad. If he's going to be leaving, there's just no point in us giving him any game time anymore. We should just send him to Ireland straight away. We've got plenty of other strikers. The difficulty is Hendon's probably 4th best behind the front 2 who start and Sedwin Scott. I would suggest Hendon's probably our 4th best striker, so it is a bit frustrating to lose him. Not as frustrating as what's happened today, though. This is just ridiculous. We're not even going to have a chance, are we? We've played 2 full games and looked rubbish in both of them. Happy Sunday, 1 and all. What an absolute mess that was. Now we have to rebuild our season with 14 games to go. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.